Well, good afternoon to all of you. Welcome. I'm going to get things kicked off here. My name's Eric Menzer, President and General Manager of the York Revolution. I'm pleased to be joined here today by Mayor Kim Bracey from the City of York and Mike Kochenauer with York Traditions Bank, as well as Councilman Henry Nixon over here on my right, the youngest professional in York, right? I had the opportunity 27 years ago to cross the Maryland line and relocate to York, Pennsylvania, and I actually think probably I came in right in front of this building at the time. There was a bunch of Yada buses lined up on King Street. Some of you may remember that. And my first glimpse of, when I had my first glimpse of York, the word that would come to my mind is potential. You could see it in the early efforts to revitalize downtown York and in the enthusiasm those involved had for the task. And one thing that hit me very quickly was the incredible sense of identity and the level of support that so many local businesses and leaders felt for their community, and how they showed that support by contributing to so many causes and sponsoring so many community events. We saw that when we built what is now Santander Stadium. Dozens of local companies that bought skyboxes not just for their inherent value, but to support creating a great quality of life amenity for the York community, a place that people come to support community causes and celebrate community heroes just as much as they come to watch baseball games. In the 27 years that I've lived in York, so much has changed. We've become a more vibrant place, a more diverse place. We've become more honest about who we are and where we come from. We've acknowledged our faults and worked hard to address them. We've renovated our town. We've renovated many of our attitudes. We've renovated many of our community institutions. Almost everything about York now is better than the town that Kendall and I moved to 27 years ago. And fortunately, we've also stuck by many of the best of the old traditions. Things like the one thing that struck me most when I first moved here, which is that this is a town that decorates for Halloween. It even paints its storefront windows downtown. And hold that Halloween thought, because we'll come back to that subject in just a moment. Now, one of the few changes in York in the past 25 plus years that would go in the not necessarily for the better category would be that some or even many of those companies I talked about are losing a little of their local identity. Anyone involved in community leadership and fundraising will tell you that more and more community investment decisions are being made in corporate headquarters outside of York by people who do not appreciate who we are and how much we care for our town. That's why it's so great today to announce a new commitment and a new partnership between two relatively young companies who share the same values, including being owned and led by people who share a deep commitment to the York community. We're here today to announce a 3-year, $40,000 annual commitment by York Traditions Bank to partner with the York Revolution to support two traditional York County events, the York Halloween Parade and York County's free Community Independence Day celebration, and to create two new traditions that we're hoping people will still be talking about 65 years from now. The partnership will officially launch the York Revolution's Special Events Division, which we're calling Eventive, to reflect the nature of what we do, events, and the spirit we try to bring to them, inventiveness. The partnership kicks off with this year's 65th annual York Halloween Parade, an event we inherited at more or less the last minute last year. When we did that, we set our goal was to make sure it continued for last year, but then to learn from that and really reinvigorate it this year. We're pleased to announce today that the theme for this year's Halloween Parade is Tradition Inspired, reflecting our title sponsor, York Traditions Bank, and reflecting their commitment to new versions of some traditional York County values. We're also pleased to announce some great new aspects of the parade, including a shorter route in response to participant feedback, free registration for nonprofits, thanks to York Traditions partnership, new incentives and prizes for marching bands to rebuild that aspect of the parade, thanks to York Traditions and Menchie Music, and a new 5K run immediately preceding the parade to benefit the city's Angels of the Park program. All of those details are on the fact sheet that you received. Now, organizations like York Traditions are a reflection of their leaders, and in Mike Kochenauer, York Traditions has one of the best. I don't know whether he personally thought up their brand slogan of "Because we live here too," but if he did, it wouldn't surprise me, because it reflects the way Mike does business and provides volunteer service and leadership in our community. So I'm very happy to welcome and thank Mike Kochenauer, Chairman, President, and CEO of York Traditions Bank.
Thanks, Eric. And I could just say I'm so excited to have the privilege to be here today to join you to make this important announcement. No matter how long we've resided in York County, you can't help but see the metamorphosis that has been taking place in our town over the last decade. And it's evident that the stadium has played a significant role in that. However, the vision for the stadium has always been about more than baseball, hasn't it? It's been about commitment to the community. It's been about bringing people together and creating relationships and friendships and memories. It takes me back to the great rich traditions I remember as a child here, like that York Halloween parade. We always went to my aunt and Uncle Bill's home out on East Philadelphia Street. It was just a block off of East Market Street where the judging took place. We'd go early to make sure we had a great spot. The adults would sit in the lawn chairs and the kids would sit on the blankets on the curb, although we'd never stay sitting in place very long. The cool October nights were warm with excitement as the Grand Marshal led off the parade. We clapped to the beat of the bands as they marched down Market Street in perfect step, and we waved at the people in the funny costumes, and we cheered as the colorful floats came along trying to catch the candy that they were throwing. Growing up in West York, not far from the fairgrounds, I also have vivid memories of July 4th and the beautiful fireworks. Sometimes we sat on the hill at Edgar Falls Smith School to watch the display. Sometimes we went to West York High School and sat on the hill outside of the football field. After my wife and I married, we walked with our neighbors and kids, carrying our lawn chairs and coolers up near a field where Health South is located now. The places that we celebrated changed, but the tradition of gathering with friends and watching fireworks to mark our country's independence always has remained the same. As I got older, I realized someone had to organize these events. Someone had to take responsibility to see that they were successful. And if they didn't, something would be missing, because these events brought the community together. Bringing the community together is exactly why York Traditions Bank was founded. We built the organization from the ground up 12 years ago. We thought it was important to offer York County small businesses and individuals a true hometown choice for their needs, because we do live here too. We formed what our customers feel is the best relationship bank in York County, and we'll be expanding our branch network this October to encompass the Hanover market. In 2010, we created a mortgage division. In less than 5 short years, our team has financed hundreds of millions of dollars in home loans for our neighbors across York County. And it's been an honor to work with the York Revolution on their Revolution Home Buyer Incentive Program for their associates who buy homes in York City. Almost exactly a year ago, we opened the doors to our new administrative headquarters, the Traditions Center. We chose to put our home base in our hometown out on 226 Pauline Drive. All along the way, our vision was about more than banking. It was about preserving the art of relationships in business. And it was about taking responsibility for giving back to our community. So when Nate and Adam from the York Revolution brought the idea of Eventive to us, we immediately saw the connection to our vision. Our very name is about capturing the rich traditions of the city and the county as a whole. To be able to support traditions such as the annual York Halloween Parade 65 years later is an extraordinary opportunity for our bank. But this is just not about sponsorship of one event. This is a true partnership between York Traditions Bank and the York Revolution that looks out over the next 3 years. Our goal is to assure not only the Halloween Parade and July 4th York continue, but that those 2 additional community events take place each year. Stay tuned for those other events. Eric, I can't wait to see what your team will think of next. So whether you are a York County native or whether you have recently decided to make York your home, you live here too. We invite you to join us and support all the events that this partnership will make possible. We hope you will continue the traditions of York County. I'm very proud now to introduce our dynamic mayor of the city of York, the Honorable C. Kim Bracey.
Good afternoon, all. This is exciting stuff, right? I mean, come on, Yorkers. Thank you very much, you guys. Thank you. I know I'm off script, but you guys know me. Thank you for joining us on this sunny Monday afternoon here in our historic city of York, alongside Mike and Eric, and this sharing of this announcement that I'm positive will excite folks once you hear more about it. As we all know, our York stands on solid ground, backed with an identity founded on the principle of pride and firefighters.
Can't you do something about that? Your city government in action.
We work hard for everyone.
Great tradition.
Indeed. So we are stand on solid ground, backed with identity founded on principles of pride, craftsmanship, cultural roots, and the very best in American values that can be seen and felt throughout the full 5.2 square miles of our city. They knew I was here. So your announcement borders upon the preservation and expansion of some of our long-standing York community values, and I thank, again, these two relatively young York businesses for stepping up to the plate and taking full charge and re-energizing these efforts. Your big-heartedness and pure adoration for our York is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much, and it gives me great pleasure to invite you guys back up here. Thank you.
So to conclude, Mike, I just have one question for you. Please join me in welcoming, because I know he's already going to say yes, the Grand Marshal of the 65th Annual Halloween Parade, Mike Kochenauer.
I wouldn't be telling the truth if I told you that was a vision back there in the curbside all those years ago. But it's a great thing. I really look forward to doing it.
So knowing that the media folks prefer to talk to people one-on-one, Mike, the mayor, and I will be here to answer any of your questions. We appreciate everyone coming out this afternoon. Thank you very much. Yeah.